And another element for DMaaS specifically is, like I said, so we have protection, right, which is your core, backup recovery, disaster recovery, resiliency, file level recovery,
Right.
immediate access type capabilities, right? And then you have governance, where we look at compliance and legal data management. Litigation's pretty big in enterprises. How do I get my hands around the data? This only makes it worse.
And by the way, that's a problem. Even we just look right here. That's been a problem there for a really long time, right? You get a lawsuit, and you've got 7 years of traditional backups. You are in a world of hurt. I can imagine how difficult that lawsuit would be when you get an electronic discovery request that spans all of this.
Yeah. Right? It's very complex, and a lot of companies, it's a major stress factor, because usually it's immediacy, right? We've got to get at the data quickly. We got to figure out where it is. We got to get our arms around it. We got to make sure we don't run into what they call spoliation, where we're messing up or somehow transforming the data in a way that makes it not court admissible anymore, right? And then the last is around data intelligence, which is really and analytics and search and other technologies, including things like machine learning that are being built into the tech stack now, to help people understand better where their data is, who has it, what they're doing with it. Are there any latent risks the organization needs to be aware of? Or even just something as simple as standard data hygiene, right? Mm-hmm. Today, you can find almost any company you talk to, they're dealing with this, but they're also dealing with another problem, which is a ton of dark data. Right. And it's only growing because this has created a problem of I can't do proper data hygiene anymore. What do I keep? What do I throw away? How do I enforce retention policy? Right.
My experience with enterprises is that data hygiene is a lot like flossing. Like, you're supposed to do it. Everybody knows you're supposed to do it, but it hurts too much, so nobody does it.
But you say yes.
When the dentist asks. Totally doing data hygiene.
So exactly. I mean, data hygiene and taking care of those elements is critical, right? The problem is that organizations don't want to be caught off guard. And the reality is data regulations are only getting more stringent, more difficult to manage around. And so getting your hands around that are real key. So the philosophy on data management as a service is to connect to all these various sources, but centralize them in the cloud, right? So this is your master data store, right? This is where all the intelligence is, right? And provided in a way that's highly scalable, right? So true as a service model, right? I'm not retrofitting or connecting to or dumping to the cloud. I'm actually using the technologies of the cloud like an operating system, right? Which allows for greater elasticity, scalability, more flexibility with the data. Like, you can do a lot more if you manage the data correctly in the cloud, to be able to do things like data intelligence, right? Plus, there's a lot of cost efficiency if you do it right. And also, being that it's a way to centralize, be like the hub of your data protection or data management strategy, you can span across multiple sites, multiple locations, without kind of having each one be its own silo.
All right, so I am a company that has all these problems, or a subset of these problems, and I agree with everything that you said, right? All this stuff is scaring me to death. What's my next step?
Well, I think there's a couple things. I think one is understanding kind of what you should prioritize too, right? What we recommend with most customers is, obviously, data protection is the foundational piece, right? We have a lot of customers that are worried about ransomware, right? And how that might impact their business. Maybe that's the best vector to start from, protecting the devices and systems that might be most impacted by that. Or, maybe you're using Office 365 and you're just realizing there's no real backup and recovery facility there. That's a great inroads as well, to at least get the foot in the door and get started on that. There's you can go for any particular piece, but I think data protection, again, is the foundation. And then governance, requires obviously a little bit more communication outside the standard parts of the organization, get other folks involved. I'd say that's always the next best step. But, from our standpoint, if you want to get started today, feel free to reach out to us at any point in time. I'm more than happy to, come chat with folks and help explain better kind of where they can best get the benefits that they're looking for, the most immediate.
Thanks, Dave.
Sure.